What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NBA Strategy Show presented by No House Advantage. I'm Dave Loughran. With me, Josh Engleman at Josh Engleman on the Twitters. Follow me at Loughy_D. One game today, a real barn burner. A lot of anticipation. Easy for me to say, huh, guy?
Great job so far.
Anticipation leading up to this one between the Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic. And Josh and I are here to break it all down. So we're happy to have you with us. It's a good one, man.
Not only are we here to break it down, we're going to do this again.
I know.
We're back for the deeper dive in 7 hours.
Oh, remarkable stuff. I mean, look, here's the thing. Still,
it is extra meaningless today with the amount of Q tags that are on both sides too.
I know. And 100, I told you it was going to be 100K to first.
Yeah.
That's a lot. 100K to first for the showdown.
It's 100. I haven't looked at DraftKings. I only know FanDuel's contest for today.
DK's 100 is what I was referring to. Yeah.
FanDuel's 100 as well.
There it is, man. People just
100K to first. Not that it matters here, but 15K to second.
Wait, 100K to first and 15
to
second?
Yeah. I mean, it's FanDuel's single game contest. So like,
no, I get it.
You're probably not solo banking without some real preposterous nonsense.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. DK's 100K to first, 25 to second.
And then 10 to third. And FanDuel is 100, then 15, then 6.
Yeah, finishing 8th wouldn't be fun on DraftKings for $1,000.
I mean, you lost money for sure.
Especially if you solo it. But the problem today, I don't know if it's a problem, but we'll definitely have a lot more insight going into the deeper dive. We're on the deeper dive, right? Not live before. Are you on the deeper dive with me or live?
We're on the deeper dive.
Okay. Thank God, right? The difference is we might have some news. Right now, you have no idea what Cade Cunningham's status is, and it's an illness. So, like, it's really impossible to even predict one way or another. Yeah. Wendell Carter Jr. is another huge questionable spot here. I mean, that's massive. The guy's been destroying of late. Yeah. Jeremy Grant is out. Jalen Suggs is out. Chuma Okeke was recently ruled out. Hamidou Diallo's out. Rodney Magruder, who started in place of Cade Cunningham last game, is also questionable, Josh.
Yeah, that's we're just kind of flying blind right now. I assume we're still flying pretty blind at 5:00 tonight, but at the very least, we'll be a little bit more directionally accurate. There are some things we can certainly touch on here, but let's remember, guys, we are quite a few hours away from lock on a 1-game NBA slate. If we don't get to the hypothetical of, well, what happens if Cade is out and Rodney Magruder is out and so-and-so Jamarco Pickett or some made-up name starts, we don't know. We'll figure it out later.
Glenn Smith said, how many damn shows do you have on today? LOL, better get innovative. We're always innovative. We've done this before.
You and I will be innovative.
We've done this before. And by
if we're going to have a 1-game slate, you and I will be fine.
Yeah. And by innovative, I mean anything can happen. But again, you're right. It will be like, it's going to make life a lot easier once we actually have insight into what's going on.
Yeah. I'm glad I got the memo that you and I should wear like the same shirt.
You know, I noticed that too. And I have very few shirts that aren't just crew neck. I'm a big crew neck guy now. Just, you know,
I'm team V-neck.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm generally not. I got a few of them. I'm mostly a crew neck guy. But I noticed same cut and all that stuff. Just a little lighter color on your part.
Yeah, mine's a little bit more like charcoal.
Yeah, mine is navy blue.
Yeah.
Matches the Awesemo hat.
I was gonna match. Who's our sponsor today? Never mind.
No,
I won't talk about it right now. I'll talk about it at a later date.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could still get into a little bit here though, because like you said, maybe going over all of the hypotheticals is unnecessary at this point, especially given that it's one game and you're not going to have to make like an absurd amount of adjustments. We could talk a little bit about showdown strategy though for NBA. It's so much different than something like football for sure.
Yeah.
Like football is different because you could have a guy I'm trying to, I always have a tough time thinking of just like random names that, that like a random, who were the guys? It was last year. It was great for me because I ended up getting to a lot of these, and sometimes it doesn't work out like that. But like Jakeem Grant, okay, when he was with, say, like Chicago, he can have an end around for a 50-yard touchdown in a low-scoring game, and it's the only time he touches the ball all game, and it's one of the 6 snaps that he's on the court for, right? You know where I'm going with this. Yeah. And he's in the optimal. You could have one 60-yard reception for a touchdown, or you're a backup running back like a Samaje Perine, for example. Bam, 45-yard reception, touchdown in the optimal. With basketball, it's not about singular opportunities. You need those minutes. And when you're out there, you at least need some of the opportunity while you're on the floor, getting that opportunity. So it's just a lot different than football in that respect.
Yeah, like Terrence Ross would be a good example for today. He's $1,000 on DraftKings. Like, he can't hit like a 20-point shot in a minute and be that guy. You're going to need, depending on how it breaks, he's going to need 8-9 fantasy points to be relevant at that spot if the other pay up options do well. You actually have to get out there. And that's where it starts to get a little confusing. And usually.
Yeah, usually. But that isn't to say that, $1,000 Terrence Ross. What do you think? What do you think he plays? How many minutes today? Assuming there's no other injuries. We do have.
I gave him 16.
So at least Terrence Ross is the type of guy that might decide to shoot 10 times. So there's that, right? Yeah. But other players just aren't going to provide you with any value while they're out there in their 10 to 12 minutes. So no. That's really just what you're looking for here. And if we kick it off with Detroit, by the way, shout out to all you guys for hanging with us this morning. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. We're at what? 74,400 plus subscribers here, doing big things. Pretty good too. We're almost at 70. We're almost at 3/4 of 100,000. It's good stuff.
When we get to 100K, it's going to be good.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something wild.
Yeah, when we get to 100K, we're going to need to create a different account so that you and I can do shows and we don't have the potential to lose our account. Every day that goes by makes it riskier and riskier to put you and I on a stream together.
Oh yeah, we'll catch those 3 strikes real quick once we get that silver play button or whatever it is. But yeah, if you want to join the channel too, you can get the free super chats each month, the custom emojis, the sweet badges. Haven't seen Tony yet, but I know he's rocking the ice. Same with our boy El Negro Loco. And then we'll always prioritize your questions and comments along with the Discord members. We're trying to do more incentives. Like we have the March Madness bracket. Is that done, Jordan? Is you can't do that? You can't sign up anymore? It's cool if you can't, but I'm just saying a lot of different stuff.
You should still have started 2 hours. But I don't know how it works.
Me neither. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know if they like have a cutoff point. But either way, if you want to join. If you don't.
I don't mess with that stuff.
Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So I'm assuming you have Cade in right now.
I do. I have everybody that's questionable in.
Yeah. Okay. And like I say, Okeke was recently ruled out, like not long before we started this show.
Oh, wait, really?
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm not wrong about that. Hold on.
Oh yeah. You got ruled out at 9:30. I was eating breakfast and stuff. I didn't even notice.
It happens.
Okay, cool.
It happens, man. It happens. Cool. Yeah. So that's significant, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That changes things up pretty dramatically. As weird as that sounds. Like,
no, it absolutely does. I mean, this is already somebody that was playing considerable minutes. Played 30 minutes last time. It was a blowout, but yeah, good playing time for Okeke. He's out. We'll get there. But with Detroit, let's talk about less about hypotheticals and more about what we know. Diallo's out. I'm throwing Frank Jackson into the mix just because if Cade's out, then other things can happen. Rodney Magruder's questionable, started for Cade last game. But the big one here is Jeremy Grant has already been ruled out. And this is a guy that in a competitive spot is playing 37, 38, 39 minutes, Josh.
Yeah, I feel like you wanted me to keep going with this Jeremy Grant conversation, and all I could think about is fixing this Orlando rotation for Jim Okeke. I was like, is it going to be Iggy Brazdeikis getting a little bit more?
Well,
run?
let's do that. Let's do that on the show when we get there.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I don't know, for some reason, just ignored you. I felt very Adam in that moment.
Not a problem, but you kind of understood where I was going with that.
Yeah, we're talking Detroit. I got you.
Jeremy
I
Grant,
heard everything. I'm better at Adam than that.
Adam doesn't hear anything.
No, I knew exactly what you were saying. I just was not prepared to answer your question.
The Jeremy Grant absence, since we already know that it's definitive, it's concrete. What does that affect? Like, okay, so let me put it to you this way: we know that Sadiq Bey is already. This should be a close game too. Already going to play a lot of minutes. That's locked in. Forget about usage for a minute. Let's talk about who fills the void in terms of a potential, 36 to 40 minutes that are voided by Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, so we sort of saw this their last time out. We had no Cade the last game, and even just that allowed Marvin Bagley to be out on the floor a little bit longer. I think that we're just now with no Jeremy Grant. We're going to get 30 minutes out of Marvin Bagley. You would expect potentially to get a little bit more minutes out of Kelly Olynyk. I don't necessarily think that has to happen here. Might happen if Rodney Magruder ends up out. We shall see. But for now, assuming with Jeremy Grant out, I think we just give that bump to Marvin Bagley right out of the gate. So I have Bagley in right now for 29 minutes. I think that I'm going to end up at 30 by the time we get there. And then the other big piece, I think we probably see Isaiah Livers get a little bit of a bump here. He played 32 minutes with no Cade on Tuesday, but he played 27 minutes on Sunday. Just seems like he's going to be getting a little bit more run right now. I got him in for 25 minutes. I think he probably gets the biggest benefit. I got Magruder in for 21, assuming he plays. The Cade and Sadiq Bey pieces are probably the easiest pieces to project for Detroit. They're just going to play a shit ton so long as they're in.
Do you think it's possible, though, that if Marvin Bagley's soaking up a lot of those lost minutes for Grant, that we could see additional minutes for Kelly Olynyk? I know you mentioned Livers, and I think, that's obviously a spot where he gets, additional opportunity. And Olynyk kind of seems to have fallen out of favor here in Detroit a little bit. His minutes have gone down while Livers have gone up. But do you think you can get to, 20, 22 minutes for Olynyk? Because he is the type of guy on a showdown slate with two bad teams that when he goes off, he goes off.
I gave him 19 minutes.
Okay.
I think that there's upside in that number for sure. Like clearly if Marvin Bagley or, even if Isaiah Stewart gets in a little bit of foul trouble, there's going to be room to take on some more minutes. And they're not exactly like a super deep team. Could they go to more Luka Garza? Sure. Pickett played on Friday, the 11th. He hasn't played otherwise in the entire month. They don't tend to go all that deep. I think Olynyk's, if Magruder is out, I'd be very surprised if Olynyk continued to play the limited minutes he's been seeing. Last 3 games for Olynyk, 13, 15, and 13. If we lose Magruder for this one, along with Grant, I'd be very surprised if Olynyk doesn't get to like your standard 18 to 22 backup run.
If Olynyk got to 22, I'd be all right with him at 4K for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think it's outlandish to get to him not at 4K. If
you mean not at 22 minute, not at a 22 minute projection.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't think 4K is all that problematic. He's certainly the type of guy that you would want to take the shot on. If we're losing these guys, like let me update. I can't even update my crunch right now because of Okeke, so it won't matter. But no, like I have Kelly Olynyk at 19 minutes right now, and that makes him for me sort of like the 4th best play from Detroit.
Hey, Glenn Smith, welcome to Team Awesemo, brother. Glad to have you here. Sweet badge. So if you were then if right now, if Olynyk is 4, who is 1, 2, and 3?
So 1 on Detroit, assuming I'm right, and Isaiah Livers is playing like 25 minutes, he's 2,400. It's him. To me, he's and I think Magruder's in the same sort of situation. If Magruder can play, he's 1,200. He's going to play like 20 minutes. Both of those guys become like the essential value pieces. 20 minutes locking in. And, like, it's not like Magruder's a good fantasy point per minute guy, but he's 1,200. If he's playing 20 minutes, he's the guy. If Livers is playing 25 minutes at 0.8, he's the guy. Those two guys stand out the most for me on DraftKings. It's not fun. Like, you don't want to be attacking Detroit's garbage as the most optimal stuff that you can get to, but I really do think they are the two best options from Orlando because it unlocks everything else.
This is actually shaping up to be a decent showdown slate because it's like you don't have to play a guy that's going to get 7 minutes.
Right.
You know,
it also sucks because these two teams suck, but that's neither here nor there.
Of course. But like, okay, if Cade's out, how many minutes do we get for a $2,000 Saban Lee? Sorry.
Interesting question. Because let me just pull this up just to double check. Okay, so he is with the team. He's not with the G League affiliate right now. If Cade is out, Lee falls into, I don't know, 16 minutes, 18 minutes.
He's played 20, 18, and 16 in his last three, in their last 3 games.
So my assumption here would be that Lee would become the backup point guard to Killian Hayes.
Actually, I think he was a DNP last game, just to throw that out there. But
yeah, he played 16, 8, 17 and a half, and then 20 in the 3 games there. But they were all 3 of those games. Like, I mean, those are the only 3 games he's played. He's only played those 3 games because Killian Hayes was out. So
right.
I think he just slides into some like backup guard run. They play a little bit more Killian Hayes, Corey Joseph at like alongside of each other because they're just running out of guard bodies at that point. I don't think that Lee takes on a massive role. Clearly, he becomes a guy you like. Everybody's playable. If you project somebody for a minute today, they're probably playable in a showdown contest.
Do you think Killian Hayes gets to 30 minutes?
No, assuming
Cade.
Oh, if Cade is out,
He got 30 last game.
Yeah, but his minutes are bullshit for the last game. Corey Joseph picked up 2 fouls in his first rotation, picked up a 3rd in the second quarter, picked up his 4th and 5th in the third quarter. He was not set to play those minutes. They were going to Corey Joseph.
And Hayes subbed in for him on each one of those.
Those guys are direct backups, 48 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. But I wasn't sure, just given the no Cade, if things were a little bit different there. So, all right.
It just complicates matters. It adds in a lot of maybes to this, but I think you get a little bit more, well, a lot of it more of Hayes and Joseph alongside of each other. And that brings if Cade is out, I just don't see Lee getting all that much more run because Killian Hayes is back.
Right. And they ran with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a 9-man rotation last game. And they were missing Cade, they were missing Frank Jackson and Diallo, right?
Yeah.
So
and Saban Lee was with the G League.
Okay. So it's very possible that you see another condensed rotation with Grant out if Cade is out. And we don't have to get too far into the weeds here, but Diallo's already out. Magruder could be out.
Yeah.
Jackson's out. If
Cade and Magruder are out, they have 9 guys.
They have only 9 guys.
If Cade and Magruder do not play today, they have 9 active bodies.
So there you go. The whole bench is going to be viable.
Yeah. The value coming out of Detroit is great. It's going to allow you to be paying up to depending on how Orlando breaks, but it allows you to pay up for the Wendell Carter Jr., Cole Anthony tier of the Magic.
All right. God, that opens up so much if they are. Even if they're not out, there's still a decent amount there, right? Because of Jeremy Grant's absence. But Magruder would be big just given that he started last game if Cade's out. So it's all, one ties into the other. It's kind of a domino effect here. Like Magruder can play, but it won't matter if Cunningham's active.
Right.
So, all right. Anybody that just is wildly unappealing to you, not to say that they're not viable for a showdown, but anyone at their price point you look at and you say, you know what, there's just so many better options. This is someone I'd rather be underweight on.
You give me 1 second while I click this update button and I could run a crunch and tell you exactly how I feel.
Let's do it. Actually, I can give you more than a second. because
Well,
we
I already
can talk.
got it, but breaks a gad. No.
No breaks of God. We can talk about No House Advantage though, because they have brought you an entirely different way to enjoy DFS with player prop contests. It's 100% peer-to-peer, helps you level the playing field, and every single user, any user, every one of you, when you deposit, sign up using the promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO, you get $25 when you sign up and deposit. You can go to nohouseadvantage.com. You can download it in the App Store, the Google Play Store, wherever you feel like going. It's there. So for all of you, for the taking, $25, boom. But it's not just player prop contest. It's you're building lineups as you would do on another site, but there's no salary cap. And when you're selecting these props, there's no juice on either side, just the over or the under. And the ones you like the most go at the top of the lineup. They get the most points. The ones you're least confident go at the bottom. They get the fewest points, or they lose the fewest points if you lose on them. But also we have the No House Advantage projections and optimal lineup tools at awesemo.com. Free 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. We have the player prop tools. We have Odds Shopper, all of which you don't have to pay a cent for. You can use for all of your research purposes, all of your strategy purposes over at No House Advantage. And I will say you need to exploit the fact that the props over at No House Advantage are static. They do not move, which means that while it seems everyone would be onto that, they're not. So compare them with the props. Use our tools. Use the promo code Awesemo when you sign up. Start winning some money over there. Again, you can download it in the App Store, No House Advantage, the Google Play Store, or go to nohouseadvantage.com. All right, Josh, what do we got? Let's talk Orlando here.
Let's do it. Actually, you gave me a question before you did that read about guys that I wasn't all that interested in from Detroit.
Yeah.
So let me hit on that quickly just to, cover all of our bases. I mean, if this breaks the way that I think that it would, and Cade plays and Magruder plays, then I think Killian Hayes at 5,200 is a pretty bad play. Just because I don't think that they're trying to play him as many minutes. I think he's a great guy to avoid today for people that only look at box scores and think he played a lot of minutes because he played a lot of minutes.
Sure.
He was not lined up to play those minutes. As long as Corey Joseph's not in foul trouble, he's going to be the guy that's getting 27 to 30 minutes here, and Hayes is going to play as the backup. I think Hayes is an actively bad play at 5,200, and I think he's going to end up over-owned because of that last run, which I'm honestly happy about. After that, I think everybody kind of slots in where they should. I don't see anything. Like, we have Hayes 22% owned, if I'm seeing this correctly today. That's what I see in Fantasy Cruncher right now.
Yep, 22%.
He came out of my sim at 7. I will not have a bigger disparity between anyone there. I think that Livers and Magruder both look a lot better if you want to just get to value. So I would much rather get to, we have Hayes more owned than Corey Joseph. That's insane to me.
That is illogical. Yeah. I mean, look, Corey Joseph is not a particularly good per minute producer, but like you said, he is the starter here. So
right.
There's that.
And let's not act like Killian Hayes is good.
No, I know. Right.
Corey Joseph in my model is 0.77 FanDuel points per minute. Killian Hayes is 0.8. They're the same guy.
Yep. Yeah, take the guy with more minutes here.
Yeah.
Especially in what should be a close game. I said it before, but it is incredible. The Detroit Pistons have now pushed or covered in 12 straight games. Like, that's amazing, right? And they've won half of those outright as big dogs. So every game they've been going into, with or without Cade, whoever it is that they've got on the active roster that day, they go in and they battle. And it's not like Orlando's one of those teams that you would worry that this game gets out of control. So
no,
I like it.
Yeah, me too. It's
Orlando Magic.
It's really weird because obviously Killian Hayes could have a big day. He could get those minutes. Like, it's the Detroit Pistons. They could do whatever they want. They're not playing for anything here. But if you're looking at that immediately and thinking that Killian Hayes should play more minutes than Corey Joseph, you're looking at it incorrectly.
That is true. So Orlando has no Akiki. They have no Jalen Suggs. Those are two guys that were filling up pretty decent minutes here. I would like to. All right. So what was the rotation? So they faced, it's so tough because they got smoked by Kyrie Irving, and the Nets were along for the ride.
Yeah.
But
they got beat by 48 or 42 or something like that.
42.
It was like 150 to 108.
Yeah, at one point Irving had I think 42 and Orlando had 53. Like
Woof.
it's
Woof.
it was one of the best shooting performances I've ever seen, honestly.
He's good, man.
Irving had 60 minutes or 60 points, and he subbed out 3.5 minutes into the fourth. Granted, he played like the entire first half, but still.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him go out there and really take a shot at it.
At what though?
Just, I don't know, 80, going after Booker, going after Kobe.
I hear you. I thought about that too. Like, just let him go. But what's Booker's?
What did he do? 73?
Was it?
I don't know.
Kobe was 81.
Yeah, Booker at 70. For some reason, I felt like he took an extra 3 there at the end.
Kobe was 81, right?
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving's pretty good. I think though.
Jordan's mad at us that we're not wearing green.
Oh yeah. Okay. You know what?
Not Irish. Don't care.
No. What are you?
Give a shit about St. Pat's. Why would I?
What are you? Pollock?
I don't know. Poor trash from Europe. I
Jordan,
can say whatever I want, Jordan. It's me.
No, he's shaking his head because I said Pollock, like I just said some terrible insult or something. A Pollock?
I don't think so. I mean, it is in like jokes when you're a 7-year-old.
A pole? A pole?
Yeah, Jordan, it's just describing a person from Poland.
My neighbor is like heavy accent Polish. Entire family still lives in Poland. He's never taken offense to that, or he has and just never said anything, but we're good buddies. Anyway, are you
apparently it might actually be derogatory.
Really?
Yeah.
A Pola? Get out of here.
Because it refers, I believe it might because it refers to poor immigrants from Poland.
Oh man, cancel me now.
I don't know.
Josh.
It's okay. The term Polak was used neutrally through the late 19th century, but today is considered an ethnic slur in North America as it was associated with poorer immigrants. The Polish still refer to themselves by this term, and other countries do not attach an offensive connotation. So basically, it's like a lot of things going on in life right now.
So
the people that are most
like
mad are not the people that should be mad.
So did we just make this shit up so we have something else to be offended by, is what you're saying?
Correct. As a Polak,
okay,
I'm cool with it, man. I'll give you permission to use it.
Thank you. All right.
Let me double check that I am in fact a Polak.
You don't know?
I can never remember which like garbage European country my ancestors are from. We weren't exactly like diving into piles of gold like Scrooge McDuck, you know?
So is it like saying like an Irish person?
Yeah, just say all of them. Just say all the things you want to compare it to.
No. I'm Irish. I can say this. I can say this. A Mick, right? Like, oh, he's a Mick.
Probably.
You know what I mean? You've heard that.
I mean, 5 seconds ago, I didn't think it was a slur either. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not throwing out intentional slurs on a fantasy show. And as you just, so wait, did you just say other countries still use it?
Yeah, internationally, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, well, so I am, this is perfect. I pulled up my 23andMe. I am 50.1% Eastern European. Poland is the first region in that section from Podkarpacki Voivodeship. So yeah, straight Polish.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be people from Jaroslaw or Jaslo or Krosno or Sanok. But yeah, I'm a Pole. Also, the only other likely match for me.
Well, you're allowed to call yourself a Polak.
Yeah, we all know how that one works. I'm allowed to say whatever I want for myself. Let's talk about the most interesting piece here for me right now. So I'm 50% Eastern European, 49.7% Northwestern European, 0.2% broadly European. I'm very European. The second biggest area in Eastern Europe, the only likely match alongside Poland, I'm about to take up a cause. That would be the Ukraine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're Ukrainian?
Obviously, man. Let me get some yellow. Do I got any yellow I can put on too?
Oh, man.
From, biggest area, Ternopil Oblast, which I assume means like city or something. Second, Kyiv. Yeah, I pronounce it Kyiv, not Kiev. I'm Ukrainian.
Yeah, that's a new one, right?
No, not for me. I'm Ukrainian.
You go.
I've been well aware.
Wait, so you go by the new or the old pronunciation?
I go by Kyiv as a Ukrainian. I believe Kiev is Russian speak for my area.
Okay, I got you. Mateus said, if you don't know the person, you don't call him a Polak unless you want to throw down.
Evidently.
Fair enough.
Hungary and Slovakia, the other two possible matches. And I can say for certain, Slovakia was definitely one that was mentioned a lot when I was growing up as a child.
Would you be okay, so you're Slovakian, you're Hungarian. Interesting. I'm just a lot of Irish. I don't really look like your normal Irish person, though. You know?
I'd like to think that I look exactly like everything that I'm talking about.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Well, here's what I know. This show is going exactly as I expected it to.
Look, man, we'll tackle all of it for real on the deeper dive. Germany is the other likely match.
Maybe someone would have, but if Jordan didn't react like that, no one would have even said anything.
No, not at all.
Which is cool. Hey, you learn something new every day.
French and German. Je suis.
I mean, I would never apologize for something like that because it's,
Don't worry, I'll get you canceled on Twitter after
honest
the show.
mistake. But if someone says, hey, we're throwing down if you start calling a Polish person a Polak, I say, I'm not going to do it. Right? I think that's reasonable.
I'm offended as a Polish person that you would refer to me as a Polak. That's my word.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Playing.
Actually, no, it worked out perfectly. Jordan's the one offended in this scenario, and it has nothing to do with him. Couldn't be more American.
It's like a caricature of what, like, you figure something out and immediately you're like, you know what? That pissed me off. I didn't know.
Jordan's mad and I'm the pole.
But I'm fired up, boys. Hashtag time. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start a hashtag.
All right.
I'm going to need to put one in my profiles and stuff too.
I wonder what the dislike button looks like right now. Hit that thumbs up.
Yeah, that's a thing, right? Oh, did you know there's dislikes on Twitter now?
Yes, it's a testing, but they don't show how many there are. So it basically.
So it's like YouTube.
Right, which is a problem in my opinion, because then I don't think there should be a dislike button at all, because it's just gonna, what?
I do.
No, because then what happens is what happens is, okay, there's a dislike button. So then people come in, even though you may be saying something legitimate. And this is more like the political Twitter is a disgusting, wasteland. It's disgusting, right? You agree with me there. Not that you ever venture over there, but I do sometimes. It's brutal. Both sides.
You know how much I love to take in political everything.
Of course. But heels dug in, echo chambers galore, all of that stuff. So now it's like you can just incessantly downvote anything that you disagree with. And my guess is that Twitter is just going to push it all the way to the bottom, even if you're not saying anything that's incorrect or even offensive. It's just if it goes against what people, you know what I mean? It just furthers the divide of echo chamber. It just furthers the divide now, where like if somebody tweets something left or right, doesn't matter. Now all of the comments that are promoted are going to be in agreement. And I think that's odd that we're just making it even more so divisive than it's already been. That's a fair take, right?
Maybe. I don't think you're wrong in what you're saying, but like there's downvotes in Reddit and nobody seems to freak out. Like it seems to work as intended.
Well, on Reddit, Reddit, that's a perfect example though. You're actually going with me here because Reddit is insanely divided on political lines. Insanely.
Right.
So
but like
the only way you can find anything on there that goes against the OP is by sorting by controversial comments.
Fair.
By the way, there is the most absurd subreddit that I've ever seen in my life called female. There's a subreddit called Cringetopia, where it's just like all the most cringy shit on the internet. Good stuff. I recommend you check it out. But there's one called Female Dating Strategy. It is the most absurd and insane, as you might say, preposterous thing I've ever said. Just check it out, peruse it, and get back to me at some point. I just want to know what your thoughts are on some of the insanity that goes on in there.
All right.
Do it. Just do it, please. You'll appreciate me
right now.
This to you. No, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Maybe before the deeper dive. Yeah.
Okay. So Orlando, man.
Yeah, we got about 8 minutes. Orlando, Jordan still hasn't changed the sidebar because I don't blame. Oh no. Wait, I thought you were going to do Detroit, no house advantage, Orlando.
He's too busy getting offended about Poland, man.
Yeah. Jordan's going to walk off the set. All right. I don't think there's a whole lot to okay. If Wendell Carter Jr. is out, everything changes. That's just massive, right?
Like it's basically impossible to talk about Orlando without that news. Because he's the best player of the slate.
He is the best player on the slate, but how good of a play does Mo Wagner become if someone like Wendell Carter Jr. is out? Because Okiki's already out.
So I have Wendell Carter Jr. coming out of my sim as my number one guy. If he happens to get ruled out, like fire up I don't know, Iggy Brazdeikis at 1,800. You get more minutes for 1K Terrence Ross. RJ Hampton already looks like a fantastic value. Maybe they go to Robin Lopez for a decent chunk of time. That, like, the starting lineup for Orlando becomes very important if Wendell Carter Jr. happens to be out.
Who would occupy?
Like, we got 20 minutes from Robin Lopez on Friday, March 4th, when Wendell Carter Jr. was out.
How many was Mo Wagner out? Because he's been out. He's been in and out of the lineup.
He was also out. The next game, then we also had no Suggs, so it would look very similar.
Right.
March 5th, no Suggs, no Carter. Also no Gary Harris in that one. We got 22 minutes out of Iggy Brazdeikis, 27 out of Mo Wagner. If Carter ends up out, I think that we get a $4,600 Mo Wagner popping up quite a bit.
I would think so. Was Okiki in or out for that game?
Okiki was in and played 34 minutes.
So, I mean,
but I think that Okiki can just basically become Gary Harris in that example.
Okay. Yeah.
Gary Harris was out, and I think those are pretty good analogs to each other.
I agree. Wagner could become very valuable today, is what we're saying.
Yep.
He's
absolutely.
He's a +1 fantasy point per minute guy. Not to mention that Wendell Carter is like one of the highest usage guys anyway. So on the team, I mean, not to say that he's like super high usage. Well, he's probably at like 22% or so over the last 30. Point in, there's nobody in this starting lineup right now that's just going to be, soaking up 35% usage in this game. So no. I'd be very interested in Wagner. If Wendell Carter Jr. plays, like you said, he's the best play in the game.
Yep, he will be. Well,
or Cade.
RJ Hampton is probably the best play because he's 3,200. Because he's going to step in. He stepped into Jalen Suggs' role on Tuesday, played 31 minutes with no Suggs. I think that happens again. I think RJ Hampton becomes the guy that plays about 30 minutes. And I think he's just going to be a little bit more interesting because of the price tag. I'm not trying to undersell Mo Wagner. He's also clearly going to be exceptional if Wendell Carter is out. But I think Hampton is going to look a little bit better.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong and I'm saving too much salary.
It's crazy too. Cunningham is it played 44 minutes in regulation last game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell at this point knows how many minutes he's going to get? But he's just far more expensive than everyone else. It's crazy how much more expensive he is than Wendell Carter. I don't really understand that.
At this rate, it's not going to matter because it seems like we have enough value to like still very easily get to Cade. Like, again, I have everybody in. I have Cade in the optimal just as frequently as I have Wendell Carter.
You can play Cunningham at captain and then Wendell Carter and utility, or vice versa. We're good, Jordan. I got you. And still kind of be able to do what you want.
Oh, I have a lot of lineups that are made like that.
It's easy.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
You can still easily get to Sadiq Bey in that situation. You can still you can get to Bagley easily in that situation. Now the only question is, forget about Orlando. Let's close on this because I think this is probably more important. The Wendell Carter news is huge right now. If you just want to just give me your top 5 Orlando right now so everybody knows. We'll be back for the deeper dive, but I want to talk strategy for a second before we go.
Yeah, top 5. Let's go ahead and turn this filter off because I was looking at lineups with just those 2 guys. Top 5 plays from Orlando. There we go. Wendell Carter Jr., Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, Franz Wagner, Mo Bamba.
Okay. Now,
and again, that's assuming everybody's just in. And those 5 guys are on a completely different level. Carter's 56%, Cole Anthony 48, Hampton 41, Franz Wagner 38, Mo Bamba 34. Next closest guy to Bamba is Fultz at 15.
Huge drop off.
Yeah, I think Fultz is pretty massively overowned at this moment, but
so let's just assume you're going with this approach where it's like, hey, I can get to everybody.
Yeah.
Are there any good ways to mix this up? I mean, you've got so many entries going into these contests for a single basketball game, 100K up top. It's going to be really difficult to try and get different here. So any recommendations, any thoughts on doing it a little bit differently than we normally would?
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to look for a positive leverage spot or two, whether that's to me, Isaiah Livers, or it's, avoiding Killian Hayes. It's going to slightly more, let's see, who else do I have popping up that would be like a positive leverage play? I have RJ Hampton significantly better off than current ownership. He at 3,200 would be an interesting way to get different because if his ownership is correct at 23%, I think that's quite a bit low given the way that we're set up right now. Or you go to some truly low guys and you really hope for the best. Like, if we get late news on Rodney Magruder and he's single digits, I think that's interesting at 1,200 because he's not the worst dude in the world at basketball. Gary Harris at 3K, if he's going to fall into some extra minutes, which he very easily could. I'm guessing his ownership comes up now with Okiki out, but that could be another spot. Right now we have at 2.7%. Maybe that changes.
All right. Well, Josh, we'll be back for Live Before Lock, won't we?
No, but we will be back for the deeper dive. You can
then
come back for Live Before Lock. I want to get out of here a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, you got locks before Live Before that. But more importantly, coming up right now, it's time, baby. March Madness College Basketball Live Before Lock with Ben Rasa and your boy Matt Gajeski. Just keep in mind, Josh, that before we head out of here, Breaks of God is the best way. It is the best way to get potentially significant high value cards without having to pay $1,500 for a box. They break them right on Instagram. You can get a slot option, pay under $100. Boom. On Instagram, you watch the break. They send it to your house. They break it out of a sealed box. It's all beautiful stuff over there. And it's how sports cards collectors of all ages are building legitimate card collections. If you use the link, breaksofgod.com/A30, that's A30, you get 30% off your first break. A30, breaksofgod/A30, get 30% off your first break. And where should you follow them on Instagram, Josh?
I assume at Breaks of God.
Close, at Breaks of God. We'll see you back here tonight. Stick around. It's the college basketball Live Before Lock show with Ben and Matt coming up next. Peace.
We're supposed to talk about the tattoo.
We can do that today.
How did we just do 45 minutes?